Hello, my name is Ian, and now I'm going to present our work on improving human activity recognition through self-training with unlabeled data using a novel method called SelfHAR. This is a collaboration between different researchers from the University of Cambridge. Human activity recognition, HAR, is the task of identifying what the user is doing, such as whether the user is walking or running, from sensor data. These sensors are commonly found in mobile devices, such as accelerometers and gyroscopes. However, there are major challenges in HAR, one of which is the inherent difficulty in collecting labeled HAR data. Compared to other data modalities, it is almost infeasible to label sensor signals after they've been collected, so it requires a very high level of participation from the users during data collection. Also, there is a large number of variations between different setups, such as different devices and sensors, different placements of sensors, and different sets of activities. So the main objective of our work is to improve the performance of deep learning HAR models by using large unlabeled datasets collected in free living environments, complement the labeled ones with semi-supervised learning techniques. And now I'm going to present our work method, SelfHAR. The main idea of SelfHAR is to combine teacher-student self-training and multitask self-supervised learning. And it consists of 4 major steps. First of all, we train a teacher model using conventional fully supervised training on the labeled dataset. And then we run the unlabeled dataset through the teacher model to obtain pseudo-labels. And then we perform sample filtering to select the most useful samples to form the self-labeled dataset. And then we combine this self-labeled dataset with self-supervised learning techniques to generate multitask transformation samples and labels by augmenting the data samples with signal transformation. This forms the multitask self-labeled dataset, which consists of the augmented data, the transformation labels, which indicate which transformation has been applied, and the HAR labels. And finally, we first pre-train the student model in a multitask setup involving both self-training and self-supervised learning, and then we fine-tune the student model using the label dataset at the end. And now I'm going to present some results. The first experiment that we wanted to conduct was to evaluate our method against other semi-supervised learning techniques. And in this setting, we make use of the full label dataset and the full unlabeled dataset, that's except for the fully supervised baseline. In this table, the first column corresponds to the dataset, the second column corresponds to the fully supervised baseline, the third one corresponds to transformation discrimination only pipeline, which is the previous state of the art. The fourth one corresponds to self-training only, which is a Bayesian study that we isolate the self-training element. And the last column is our self-HAR pipeline. Here we can see that out of all cases, compared to the fully supervised baseline, our self-HAR method is able to outperform it in all cases. And also, compared to the previous state of the art, our method was able to outperform it in 5 out of 6 datasets. Please note that out of all these pipelines, the final model has the exact same complexity and architecture, which means that there is no extra cost incurred at runtime. And we also wanted to evaluate how well our pipeline will do in limited label data scenarios, where we limit the number of label samples per activity class to 2, 5, 10, 50, and 100. Here, the green plot corresponds to our self-HAR pipeline, and we can see that compared to the fully supervised baseline, our method outperforms it in all cases by a large margin. And for example, in the HAR dataset, our method is able to achieve the similar performance using almost 10 times less labeled data. Compared to the previous state of the art, our method is also able to outperform it in most cases, especially when there are more than 10 labeled samples per class. So to conclude, we propose self-HAR, which is a method based on combining self-training and self-supervised training. We've shown that self-HAR is performant where it outperformed previous state-of-the-art semi-supervised training methods in the majority of cases. And we have shown that self-HAR is data efficient, where it achieved the same level of performance using up to 10 times less labeled data compared to supervised training, which indicated the ability of leveraging unlabeled datasets in increasing the diversity of data. So here are some references that I used in this presentation. So for more information, please feel free to visit any of the following websites or get in touch using the email address at the top. Thank you very much.